So, hi, Mario. It's a pleasure to have you here in our blog. And do you know that we have a blog called ELT Learning Journeys, where we explain everything that we learn through all our journeys. And you are a big traveler, and you are, traveling around the world, delivering trainings. And we wanted to ask you, so what do you think that are the big, huge trends actually around that you have seen?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and I have heard about your blog, and I'm very impressed, so thank you so much. Basically, these are like times when lots of things are changing in language teaching. Fortunately, just to improve the ones that have been out there for the last 5 or 6 years. So we are on the right track, but it is very important that teachers know that how we are supposed to improve those. One of the major changes has to do with the way we teach grammar, for instance. We have to remember that grammar is something cognitive, and that students will learn grammar based on the principles not of memorizing rules, but rather visualizing and having students give us feedback on their understanding of the structures, and of course practice, and very importantly transfer to their own lives. Now, another one of the trends is of course CLIL. We know we've been talking about CLIL for a while, but basically now that it is mainstream, we must teach CLIL after we teach cognitive grammar. And of course, we must remember that there are two kinds of CLIL. There is CLIL for academic purposes, when you match math and science and arts and things like that with English, that it connects it with the language that they are studying socially in their English class. But we also have cultural CLIL that has a big connection with 21st century skills, as students are to have this concept of global awareness. And speaking of 21st century skills, that's also one of the trends based on the fact that children should learn English, but in a way that they can become better citizens and contributors, not dependent to their society. And of course, we have lots of 21st century skills, some of which are directly applicable to language teaching, like global awareness, like being creative, like sharing, communicating, and problem solving and the like. One other thing that sometimes teachers forget is that we now are prepared in modern methodology to teach literacy. And this means that our learners in any grade, but particularly in first and second grades, are ready for us to teach them to read and write in English exactly the same way we teach native speakers of English to read and write their own language. Just the way these students are exposed to learning to read and write in Spanish, although they are already Spanish speakers, the same thing can be done in English as a foreign language. Alongside that, one of the most exciting trends is assessment for learning. Now, when people hear the word assessment, they immediately think of assessment of learning. But what I'm trying to say here is assessment for learning, which is a process that in its own merits has become a method of teaching, and an easy one, by the way, that is based on 4 principles, which has to do with involving students, with getting feedback from students by developing monitoring activities, and then of course assisting them with their needs. Once we monitor the students' results, it is very important that students understand, or that we understand as teachers, what students need to improve, so we assist them by reteaching them through alternate routes. And then finally, of course, one of the best improvements that comes as part of assessment for learning is that we are now ready to go deeper into challenging students. We want our students to use more their critical thinking skills. So that's a wonderful thing. So as I was telling you, these are very exciting times to teach English, and I'm just delighted to be part of the whole movement. Thank you very much for having me.
No, thank you very much for your wise advice. So thank you. Bye.
Thank you.